You're first up. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about the German situation where they're allowing the Syrian refugees in. And I don't think it's fair for the Germans and their population to put up with it. And I went to the Der Spiegel website, that's the German newspaper, and they're portraying their own citizens as hate mongers. And they're just concerned. But they didn't say that. Der Spiegel has them as hate mongers. What's Germany to do with their hateful population? I thought it was sickening, because that could have been anywhere in America, could have been anywhere.
Oh, yeah, sure. Because anybody, for example, perhaps you and I, if we had a conversation regarding our border, or look what's happening with the presidential debate and the things that Donald Trump has said. Oh, he's a hater. You get these kids making videos, little kids. I don't know if you've seen the video or not. These kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, little Latin kids, F-bombing Donald Trump, flipping him off. And it's angry and it's mean and it's sickening, and how their parents could ever allow them to do this, and how the directors of this video could ever allow this to happen. It's hateful. That's the hate. We're concerned about our country. We want to maintain our borders, our language, our culture. We want to have something left 50, 60, 100, 200, 300 years from now. But at the rate we're going, it's going to be over before we know it, unless somebody does something.
You hit the nail on the head with the birth rates. It's very low for the Western European cultures, the culture that carries on this classical civilization that handed down symphony music, alphabet, reading and writing, arithmetic, architecture, forks, aqueducts, you name it. We passed it on. And what I see today is, with the advent of all this immigration, is it's going downhill fast. You can look at our SAT scores nationwide. It never used to be like that. You pick up a book from the 1800s and you look at what they were teaching the kids back then. The kids today couldn't even... we're illiterate. We're completely illiterate when you make that kind of a comparison. I appreciate your call here on the Savage Nation. It's true. It's true. But the point is, my friends, government zero. No borders, no language, culture. We have arrived. Now, how do we get out of this mess? Can't wait to take more of your calls. It's one of the great pleasures I have when I get behind this microphone for Savage, speaking to people from all over the country. And we'll do that when we continue. We've still got a lot of time to go. Don't forget michaelsavage.com for all your news needs. Again, Brian Sussman filling in on this, the Savage Nation. Brian Sussman in for Michael Savage. michaelsavage.com, Government Zero, available now, number 3 in the New York Times bestseller list, and it will only rise. Can I read just a portion to you from the book? Because it just so neatly fits into everything we've been talking about on the Savage Nation. All of the news basically validates what Michael's written. There's a dance of death in the West, an actual death in the Middle East, courtesy of the Islamofascists. Meanwhile, the Caesar in the White House entertains himself with 1,000 sycophants, partying on behind closed doors as if the Islamofascists' hand will not touch him. He thinks he's protected from this new plague, the Black Death of radical Islam. We're facing something the West hasn't had to deal with since the wars of religion in the 16th and 17th centuries. When those religious wars ended in one place, they began in another. They lasted for over 100 years. The same thing is happening right now. The radical Muslims are on the warpath, and they're against everyone else. They're against Muslims who are not as fanatical. They're against members of all other religions. They think they're going to take us back to some pristine religious period in human history that never actually occurred. Government Zero. Michael Savage. So what's happening today? Our government, Government Zero, is ignoring that there's even an ISIS. We're not doing anything. We're doing nothing. That JV team is growing in size. It's metastasizing before our very eyes. Nothing to protect us from it at this point in time. I look at the Egyptian, the Russian plane that goes down in Egypt. Oh, the media was bending over backward to assure us, no, couldn't have been terrorism. Absolutely not. And then media reports started coming out regarding how the airplane was reacting prior to going down, etc. And I'm not a rocket scientist. I just happened to say on the air on my little program on KSFO in San Francisco, maybe there could have been a bomb on the plane. Hello? Duh. And now that seems to be the chatter. Maybe there was a bomb on the plane. How could that have happened? You mean somebody might have been able to sneak onto the tarmac or maybe get through security to get on the plane? Well, yeah. You really think our airports are that safe? We had a story in San Francisco just today with 3 people working for TSA were involved in drug smuggling. They had drug smugglers who were these were the guys operating the X-ray machines, examining your carry-ons. They were letting drug smugglers come through. How many times? There's another story that keeps popping up here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We have this woman. I don't know if you've heard about this or not. This woman repeatedly is able to get through all security at the airport, San Jose Airport, San Francisco Airport. She gets right through security. She has no identification on her. She gets right through security and then gets on planes and flies to other places. She's just this little old lady. I don't know how she does it, but she's done it many times. Flies all over the country. Gets caught, does it again. So we're supposed to believe that TSA, Department of Homeland Security, they've all got it handled. Come on, give me a break. Give me a break. And then we look at what's happening in Germany, and we look at what's happening in Europe, and we look at what's happening in the Middle East and North Africa. All of this under President Obama's watch. And what's he out there doing today? Well, we killed the Keystone Pipeline. Yeah, and in killing the Keystone Pipeline, you not only killed American jobs, by the way, union jobs, you also gave a gift to OPEC. You gave a gift to OPEC. Let's go to Timmy, WABC New York. Timmy, you're on the Savage Nation. Thanks for checking in. Brian Sussman filling in for Michael.
Hi, this is Jimmy from Brooklyn. Bernie Sanders makes Hillary Clinton look moderate, just as you said, but that's the same way ISIS makes Al-Qaeda look more moderate. That's called the Marxist dialectic. They control both sides of the issue. It's like when Stalin was in charge, he supported the Nazis. So you had the Nazi-Communist coalition for a while. Same way today, you have Christians and radical Islam working together. It's the penetration of the religions and the culture by the Marxists, following the strategies of Antonio Gramsci. So Putin is at the head of the communist movement. At the same time, he's supporting the world Nazi movement. This is absolutely incredible. It's the
dialectic. The dialectic. No, I appreciate your call, Jimmy. The dialectic. Well, it is interesting. We have strange bedfellows. And you're right. ISIS and Al-Qaeda, apples and oranges. Hillary and Bernie, apples and oranges. At the end of the day, Hillary and Barack, apples and oranges. I know we have this thing in the Constitution. Hillary was out there talking about it, I think, on one of the comedy shows last night. Trying to be funny, trying to be relevant. And, of course, they all yucked it up for her, carrying the water for this lady. But she said, you know, in the Constitution, you can only have 2 terms. Oh, really? They found a way around the Constitution. This will be the Clintons' 3rd term. She gets elected, it's the Clintons' 3rd term. Actually, it's Barack Obama's 3rd term. Do you see what they're doing to us? They're going to stick a fork in this country. Let's continue. Ruth, KSFO San Francisco. Ruth, talk to me about the German refugee crisis. Go ahead, please.
Refugees in a village of 500 people that has been there for centuries.
Wait, Ruth, start over again. We clipped off the beginning of your conversation. Start again.
What I was going to tell you, I think it's important. With regard to the refugees in Germany, I was Skyping with my friend, and she told me that it's a horrible, horrible situation there in that they moved 900 refugees into a small village of 500 people, which means for centuries these people have been there, and now they're totally outnumbered in this village by these 900 refugees. There is a home in Dusseldorf that is of historical value there and held only for special occasions. It's rented out, etc. And they have put a number of people in that particular home. So these are just 2 examples.
Oh, yeah, 2 examples. I'll give Ruth, I thank you for your call. Angela Merkel may as well be Barack Obama in drag. Seriously. They're both fundamentally changing their part of the world. I saw another story coming out of Germany. A town of 170 has accepted over 700 Muslims. And by the way, it's happening in the United States of America as well. There are towns, I just spoke to a guy, I can't remember the town in Idaho. Maybe some of you folks listening in Idaho could help me out. small town in Idaho just being completely overrun with refugees. I don't recall if they were from Syria or Somalia, but I can tell you they're from a specific religion. This is what's happening. It's the fundamental transformation of America before our very eyes. Let's continue. Luigi, WABC, wants to talk about the Keystone Pipeline, something we've been talking about extensively, but you want to bring up Obama and Warren Buffett. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. One of the reasons I think that Obama killed the Keystone Pipeline is because, to be honest with you, I believe that Obama and Buffett are in bed together. Buffett owns a rail line. If you don't ship it by pipeline, you got to ship it by truck, but mostly you're going to ship it by rail. Mm-hmm. How many leaks has what type of damage has the environment received from the Alaskan pipeline? He's full of baloney.
He is full of baloney. In fact, the wildlife up there loves the Alaskan pipeline. Thanks for your call. Well, let's see what Obama had to say about this pipeline. This is his big deal. We got ISIS going nuts. We got 5 million people who could be working in America who aren't able to find work. Oh, I know the jobs numbers came out today. They were just rosy, weren't they? What they don't tell us in the breakdown is of those 271,000 Americans who got a job last month, how many of those people got a part-time job? All right. Hey, love to be working full-time. I'm only part-time, but you're counted anyway. How many of those people used to be slaying it in a particular industry and now they're greeting in front of Walmart? Nothing against the Walmart greeters, but I'm just saying. Here's Obama. Give me clip 2 talking about his killing the Keystone Pipeline.
The pipeline would not make a meaningful long-term contribution to our economy. So if Congress is serious about wanting to create jobs, this was not the way to do it. If they want to do it, what we should be doing is passing a bipartisan infrastructure plan that in the short term could create more than 30 times as many jobs per year as the pipeline would, and in the long run would benefit our economy and our workers for decades to come.
Is he slick or stupid? What is he? Is he slick or stupid? Can I just tell you something? The beauty of, infrastructure projects, yes, if we need new infrastructure in this country, who pays for it? It's you and me. Taxpayers pay for it. The taxpayers pay for the infrastructure. Keystone Pipeline would have been paid for by a company in Canada. And there would have been jobs, both temporary to build it and permanent to maintain it. And it would have also brought what Barack Obama, I think he called it, that dirty crude from Canada into the United States to be refined. And of course, Barack Obama would say, well, that oil probably would be exported. No, we only export 9% of our oil. We use most of what we produce. Just a few little facts, but I know facts get in the way of a story, so let's just move on. Let's continue. We've got Clifton in California calling in. Clifton, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the IRS? Is that what I understand?
My friend. Hey, the bottom line is, Brian, I am so sick and tired of these people insulting my intelligence. You understand what I'm saying? For the last 2 weeks, the 2 biggest stories that the media should have been concentrating on was the fact that Lois, or whatever her name is,
Lois Lerner,
the impeachment guy, and the fact that the 5 people that went before Congress for the VA hearings, all of them pled the fifth, and 2 of them didn't even, they walked them out. They didn't even let them testify. What the hell is going on here, man?
I know this is a guy who has served this country in the military. This VA thing is very near and dear to your heart. Think about this. People pleading the fifth at the DA. We have a DA that's completely out of control. There was a story yesterday. Some guys can't get their VA benefits because the VA said, no, you're dead. The guy's standing right in front of him saying, no, I'm perfectly alive. No, you're dead. Social Security said you're dead. That's why we're not giving you your benefits. This government's out of control, Clifton. Clifton's gone. He got so worked up, he hung up on himself. I want to get back to the sound. This dovetails nicely into Government Zero. It's as if Representative Rohrabacher from Southern California read the book, and he may have, because obviously, if it's number 3 on the New York Times bestseller list, people are reading the book.
So he